Hello, everybody. This is Brett Davis coming to you from the Brett Davis podcast, coming to you from beautiful Coronado at IQ Podcast Studio. I'm honored today to have best-selling author, New York Times author, of course. Are you on Amazon top-selling also?
Yes.
There's not enough room to put all your accolades. Of course, the legendary Bardi Toto.
Nice to meet you. Thank you so much. I'm grateful. I feel like I've known you forever.
God, I hope not. My past can get me in trouble in a lot of ways, but I hope not too long. She's like, what do you mean?
I don't want to know. TMI.
And we survived the 80s. That's all you have to know. The 80s were amazing.
Yes.
I don't think the generation now really realizes what they're missing.
Right now they don't.
Nope. So how did you get into writing, and how did you get into being the leader that you are? Because you're an amazing woman. You've done so many different things. I mean, have you climbed Mount Everest yet?
No.
Do you have any ambition to climb Mount Everest?
No, but I want to be in figure competition, which I know you are a competitor.
I actually trained a friend of mine who's a doctor and got her in her best shape of her life in 3 months, and she won 6 categories against 20-year-old girls.
Oh, geez. I can believe it. I've been a gymnast. I started when I was 8 years old, so I have the muscle memory for it.
Oh, yeah. You probably could breathe and your body changes. You probably like cough and your abs come out.
I wish right now. I wish.
So tell us, I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
A little bit of a hoarseness too, of all the talking I've been doing today. So I'm not trying to be sexy. That's just the way it is. She's going to kill me. So tell me again, you best-selling author, speaker, leadership, branding. How did that all happen?
Wow. You and I talked on the phone briefly, and I was a nurse. I call it in another life. I loved helping other people, but I hated the politics. And my dad was an entrepreneur, and I was always fascinated, like starting at age 4, I would like count this is going to sound silly. I'd count the letters in our last name, and I'd be like, I want my name on the door. I didn't know why my last name was on the door, but I knew it was on the door. So that meant it was like a big deal, and my dad was in, sales. He was an entrepreneur, and I always looked up to my dad, and I wanted to help other people, so I decided to become a nurse. And I learned that I couldn't stand the politics. I learned I couldn't stand what I heard behind closed doors, how doctors would talk about the patients. I actually got written up for talking to a patient. I was told my job was to get them in and out of the hospital, not talk to them. And I'm like, this is not what I signed up for. So I basically took the love of helping other people onto the internet. I started my own branding and marketing company out of a closet on base housing, took a 50-foot telephone line in, acted as if I had the marketing and branding company, is a passion that I had, found someone that knew more than I did. And I said, teach me how to run rather than crawl. And I learned it honestly on my own. I don't really have a mentor for branding and marketing. I'm self-taught. And the concept that I've used for the past many years about implementing gratitude into social media or brand just came from, being kind to people, as a nurse. And I've always had the foundation of my business and my life as gratitude. And I'm like, how can I implement this into social media? How can I implement it into other people's brands? What makes one person different than the other? And people come up to me and they're like, you have competition. I'm like, I don't have any competition, because one, I'm talking about something that nobody else is talking about, and I'm doing stuff on the internet that nobody else is doing. The same thing with yourself. So that's how it all, and I love what I do. I really love helping other people, whether it's the power of asking, which we talked about. That's like my passion, or branding, with gratitude, where people gravitate towards you. People want to like, know, and trust you, that you come from a point of inspiration versus desperation, because a lot of people come from the desperation point. They try to shove a lotion, potion, service, or product down our throats, where it should all start with gratitude. If it starts with gratitude and you get to know about someone else and you have more of an interest in them than you do yourself, you're going to be very successful. And that's exactly what you've done. And that is what I've done. It's just, I use gratitude, and that is it. And people are think of gratitude as Thanksgiving or saying thank you, but it's more than just thank you. It's an action on social media. So
words are very powerful.
Thank you.
Right?
Yes, they are. Words are extremely powerful. They can make you, break you, change somebody's life. Change your life, but people don't realize it's not what you say, it's how you say it. And I can beat that like a dead horse all day long. It's a conversation that Gary Vee and I had, that it's not what you say, it's how you say it. It's, what we talked about as far as the power of asking, a friend request is an ask. That's where it all starts. And a lot of people are intimidated by other people, but, we all put our pants on the same way. Well, I mean, female versus male, but you get it, is we all, whether it's, go to the bathroom the same way, whatever, we're no different. It's just how you use it.
Sure.
So
give us an idea what type of companies and individuals you work with.
Oh my gosh, I have been honored, and I say honored, to work with everyone from, the band Night Ranger to musicians. Speaking of the 80s, I work with a lot of musicians from the 80s and 90s, or just musicians in general. I work with realtors. I teach a lot of people in sales, whether it's car sales, real estate, any corporation that has sales, which is all of them, how to sell without selling, how to come from a point of gratitude, like how to communicate, how to, ask questions in a way, or get to know someone on social media that is not going to be offensive to them, where you're not selling them, that you actually come from a point of caring. But I've had people, you have to use it in such a way where it's not, gratitude is not used for manipulation. Does that make sense? So, but
sure.
I will, back to your question, I got off the subject, is
not at all. I think everything's fascinating you're talking about.
Thank you. Authors, speakers, entrepreneurs, musicians, realtors. Basically everyone. My passion is entrepreneurs. My passion is, realtors. As long as I can, put them out there to where, for instance, I connect with people that are untouchable, and people have come to me and they're like, how did you get, the attention of Starbucks on Twitter? How did you get on Entertainment Tonight? How did you get Lisa Gibbons? How did you get all these people? And I'm like, from just actually gratitude, making comments, and I do stuff that most people don't do. And I can go into that in detail. I can give you some examples, like what the 98% think I don't do. I do what the 2% do. And it's so simple. It's crazy, but you'll get it.
Well, I know every situation's different. So, did you learn these principles through trial and error, or it just naturally came to you?
It's natural for me.
Okay.
It's just natural. I remember when it first began, actually on social media is I was on Twitter, and I will not forget it. I went to Twitter kicking and screaming. Now, I love training on branding and social media. Twitter is a different breed of animal. A lot of people look at it and they're like, they don't understand it. It's a bunch of noise, you know, politics, whatever. And I went there about 10, 12 years ago when it first began, kicking and screaming. And I'm like, okay, I'll be honest, I couldn't stand it. And I'm like, okay, how can I use this differently? And what can I do to really enjoy it? And I remember it was back in 2014 that I saw Kathy Ireland on there. And now Kathy Ireland, if you know her, she's
a mogul.
Former supermodel. She has her own furniture, everything.
Oh.
And she had posted a picture of her volunteering for Toys for Tots. And it came to me, I said, that's amazing. I'm going to reach out to her and compliment her. And I said, I think it's really amazing. You're such a busy person. Hello, Kathy Ireland. I said, thank you so much for doing this. It's amazing. I said, my son and I do the same thing. And I posted a picture. I think my son was 12 at the time, maybe 13, 14, of him and I on a street corner in Dallas, Texas, collecting for Toys for Tots. And she says, I think that's great. And she followed me back. And I'm like, okay. And then I was like, all I did was genuinely compliment her. And then I was like, okay. And then I said, all right, what I'm going to do is the people I really want to connect with. And so I took this on all platforms where I connected with, let's say, and I talk about this in the Entrepreneur Magazine interview, is I'll get, let's say, 20 people that you really want to connect with. Big people. Like it could be, TV producers. It could be untouchable people. Like one of the people I've worked with for the past few years is Hollywood Henderson from the Dallas Cowboys,
right,
who I see as untouchable. So we met on Twitter. Same thing. I reached out to him. He's like, message me. I'm thinking, this is crazy. And next thing I know, I'm working with him on a project he's had for the past few years on an autobiography. Same thing, Lisa Gibbons. Lisa is originally from Dallas, Texas. She was in a magazine many years ago called PM Magazine. She's since been on Entertainment Tonight, or what she's involved with. And I said, may I send you one of my books? And she said yes. And she gave me her address in Beverly Hills. And I'm like, okay, this is crazy because I'm nobody. I'm not nobody, but I'm sitting here like, I'm not on their level. That's what I'm thinking. And I'm like, I'm just being genuine and communicating and asking. And then this is before The Power of Asking was written, but asking is a form of gratitude. When you ask, you're allowing somebody to give back to you. So even a friend request on social media, guys, is an ask. So everyone watching this, like the average person, we think, well, why would I ask them to be my friend? Because we have nothing in common. They're on this level and they're like, huge. And I'm on this level. Why would they be friends with me? And it's like, why not? And so all these people I started with a friend request. As silly as it sounds, it's so powerful because if you don't ask them to be your friend first, it's not going to go any further. Right. So like with Gary Vee, okay, so we met 14 years ago on YouTube when he was doing Wine Library. And this has come naturally for me. I sent him a video DM. Now, at the time, we didn't have messaging or video direct message. So I think it was an iPad or iMac or something. I made a video, 3 minutes, and it was like an MP4, and I emailed it to him, or maybe it was on LinkedIn or something. And I basically said, I love what you're doing with Wine Library. And it was like 3 minutes. And he never forgot that. That was like so meaningful that I took those 3 minutes or 2 minutes and sent him that video DM. Now, people can do the same thing today on messages. Think about it. When you see a message, okay, in your DMs, your direct messages, a lot of people think it might be spam, that person's trying to pitch them. But if you send a video over, it gets attention. It shows you're different. It shows you care. You're doing something different than everyone else. So for me, this has just honestly come naturally. And so I took it to higher levels, to where, that's how the power of asking came about. And then the book Disrupt Your Brand, which is about being a disruptor, standing out, being different than everyone else. It's like making a comment. This all ties together. Making a comment, most people think, I don't have time, which is such a poverty mindset. You do have time. If you have time to go to Starbucks, if you have time to scroll on your phone on Facebook, if you have time to do whatever it is you do, you have time to make a comment. It takes 5 seconds to say, thank you. I really enjoyed your post. I really see, looking through your pictures, you've accomplished a lot. That's great what you're doing. Or your daughter is beautiful, or whatever. I'm using examples. Send. Okay, that gets attention. Whereas just sending a message, you think it's spam, people ignore you. I had been trying to get the attention of someone in New York recently, and I'm sitting here like, why is she not responding? And I finally sent a video DM last week explaining what I've been up to, why I was trying to get a hold of her, and she watched the videos, the video DMs, but she didn't read my text. You see what I'm saying? So it's more attractive. And like I said, making a comment, it goes so far. It's like, I have a degree in psychology, but
I'm in trouble.
I have 3 degrees. I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up. But the whole thing is, it's all psychological. When people see a comment, I mean, how many people, like when they see the comments, they go and they look who made the comment, or they read the comments.
Sure. I just did that a little bit. Right.
It's called user gratification. Okay. So the reason the #1 publication in the world, or was the National Enquirer, is people have a nose problem. So that is one of the reasons that makes social media so beautiful, is that people are nosy. They want to know what you're doing. They what I'm saying? It's,
sure. They don't a lot of, everything, I know I've never thought about it that way, but everything you've talked about 100% makes sense.
Yeah. So I've been doing this, and now you made me lose my train of thought.
You've been doing this since, you're only 35. So let's see, that would be.
I wish. Yeah. Now you got brownie points. But the whole thing is making the comment. People go back and they look at comments. You're
Sure.
going to get more attention by making the comment than just liking and retweeting. I tell people liking and retweeting is lazy. I tell people I'm the female version of Gary Vee. I'm not going to tell you what you want to hear, but what works and what doesn't. And that's what I do. Because like, people think Facebook pages work. They don't. People will go and like your page once, never to go back again. I mean, how many people watching this have you gone and you like someone's Facebook page and you've never gone back? I have like 292 pages I'm a fan of. I've gone once and not gone back. I've gone to groups. Now, when you're part of a group, you have a common denominator. You have a common interest. You're a tribe. It's kind of like the law of attraction. It's funny. Going back to how I did what I did, Michael Beckwith, who was in The Secret, wrote the foreword of both my books. And how he found me was, I know how to do video SEO, and I knew how to get on the front page of YouTube. And I did a video testimonial of a conference I had been to with Bob Proctor, Michael Beckwith, and Mary Morrissey. This was back in 2008. Okay. And he calls me on the phone. I made a video testimonial, which is a form of gratitude, very quick video testimonial, put it on YouTube. Calls me on the phone because I said on the video I would love for him to write the foreword of my book. So he calls me and he says, I would love to write the foreword, get in touch with my assistant. And I hung up the phone and I literally froze because he had just been on Oprah and all this stuff with the movie The Secret. And I was just like, oh my God, like this works. And because I've been doing videos since like 2006, like I was originally with YouTube. I had a channel that had about 950,000 subscribers. And I had a guy who unfortunately didn't like me on the internet and flagged me enough where he took it down. And he's taken my channel down several times. I guess Jack Canfield told me that I've done something right to get, people that don't like my success. So, it
Maybe,
is what it is.
maybe you remind him of his ex-wife.
No, this guy's overseas. I hope not. But I hope what I'm saying makes sense to you guys, because it's just, I want to say common sense. But a lot of people are taught, like Instagram, go throw up a picture. Pictures don't work on Instagram anymore. The algorithm has changed. You've got to do 60-second video clips.
Huh.
Or actually not even that. It's now Instagram stories or Facebook stories. And what I do with Instagram stories is I have people like share my stuff. Like, for instance, Gary Vaynerchuk's sister, I sent her a book and she posted it on her Instagram story today and she tagged me. And so I, of course, got a message and it says add to your story. So you add it back. Right. And then those are people that don't know you. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So it's like, example, Twitter. Okay. I have American Airlines who follows me. When American Airlines mentions me on Twitter, when they mention my name at Bardi Toto Media or whatever it is, that goes out to the 1.5 million or 2.5 million people that they have following them. So, I mean, there's 3 things that people can do for, implement, like getting quickly, attention to people. And that is making comments, sharing, also recommendations, like on LinkedIn, recommending someone, or what is it on LinkedIn? It's called where you honor their skill set, the recommendations, and then just sending a video DM, just simple things that I do all day long. So
the book that you sent me, does it cover, and by the way, I did get the book. I found it in my
you found it. Yeah.
And it was dropped off in our mailbox. I guess got it yesterday and I have not had a chance to open it, but thank you so much.
Yeah. You're welcome.
Does it cover a lot of these things?
Yes. So Disrupt Your Brand. I just wrote a book called The Power of Asking and Gratitude, which covers some of the stuff, but Disrupt Your Brand is basically, I even break it down in there about communication. I mean, you're not going to learn everything in the book. Of course, most people hire me as far as consulting or training and they learn that way, or they go on my courses or whatnot. But that has a lot of really good information in the book, Disrupt Your Brand, because if you're not a disruptor, if you're not doing, going against the grain, you're not going to succeed. I mean, it's just simple as that. You have to stand out and be different, especially on social media.
Can you give us 5 tips right off the bat? We've got about 2 minutes that people can use right away to make changes in their branding.
Yeah, exactly. What I had just mentioned, and I want to elaborate on that, is one, on social media, make comments. Okay. Now, it's different across the board. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, the profiles are different. So the first thing is making comments. Okay. Make comments. Don't have the mindset as I don't have time. That's lazy poverty mentality. If you can scroll on Facebook, if you can look through groups, if you can watch a music video, you can make comments. All right.
Okay.
Number 2, send a video DM. Start doing video DMs versus just sending a DM. Okay. That will get you attention. All right. Okay. And with that, write down, let's say 20 people that you really want to interview. Like with you, 20 people that
you were the first one. You were the first one on my list.
I'm honored. But 20 people seriously that you want to connect with or interview, that goes hand in hand. Also sharing. I have a huge problem with something. My musicians, okay, they try their best to cross-pollinate with other musicians, and what they're finding is other musicians aren't supporting them. And it's a shame, because it's like, nobody shares my stuff. Well, are you sharing other people's stuff? No. Well, law of attraction. Okay, you need to start sharing people's stuff, and they're going to share your stuff. It really does work like that, sharing or recommendations, recommending someone on LinkedIn for their skill set. But the other thing, like I said, is writing down those 20 people and going after them. And I don't say going after, but who you want to interview. So for instance, I have a secret list right now I'm working on, and I've gotten all those people. I mean, the people that I have on my list that I have already said, can I interview you? And they've said yes. And it's like, wow. I mean, I've been honored to interview Mike Ditka. I've interviewed TD Jakes. I've interviewed Real Talk Kim. I've interviewed Gary V. I have the keyboardist from several bands, musicians that I'm going to be interviewing. I'm interviewing you. So,
gee, I appreciate that. Wow.
Yeah.
Accepting the award
for allergies. Forgive me, my allergies are crazy today.
I thought you were starting to get misty-eyed because you're interviewing me.
I know. I am. Sorry.
With my voice, so Sean Connery had more of an English, spoke more English. I'd sound like Sean Connery. Hello.
So, I mean, people, it's so simple, stupid that it scares me. I mean, it's just so simple, but people want to mess it up. And I'm going to tell you, the other thing that I created back in 2009, I actually created software, because if you look at social media, you can spend a lot of time on it and feel like you're getting nowhere. And so I decided to create software where you can post to like 30 different social networking sites at once.
Wow.
Versus managing all of them. Because I was sitting there one day, and it's like, I like to create solutions to problems. And, whatever business you're in right now, I'm sure that, I hope that's what you're doing. Like, whether you're a realtor, whether you're a musician, whether you're in sales, whether you're an entrepreneur, we are all here to help people find solutions to problems so that they can better themselves, better their lives.
That's why you're here today, because you're helping bring knowledge to help people be better.
Exactly. And just like what, the same thing that you're doing. So with the social media, I saw a problem. I saw that everyone was on Facebook and a little on Twitter, but the social bookmarking sites, nobody was on, nobody was touching, and they were spending all their time. Like, I have a son that was, disabled when, he was born. And I spent a lot of time the first 4 years dealing with that. And I was like, I don't have time for this. What can I do? And so I created software to post to all the sites at once.
Right.
So that it saves you time, so that you can focus on what matters most. So whether you're in network marketing, it could be your downline, whether you're in sales, whether you're an author, whether you're a speaker, an entrepreneur, in real estate, to what matters most. Because social media, I'm going to be honest, it can be overwhelming. It can be like, and you're talking to someone that specializes in branding and social media, and I'm sitting here telling you it can be overwhelming and very time consuming, to where people get burnt out and they think social media doesn't work, but it's because they're not going about it the right way, or they're hiring people in high school and their mindset is, well, Gina's daughter does Facebook and she can do my social media. Well, Gina's daughter is going to mess up your account, and you're never going to reach the level you want to. And you're never going to reach the people like I've been talking about, because you're letting someone without the skill set and the knowledge do your social media. It's not just about posting a picture on Instagram. It's not just about posting on Facebook. There is a science behind it all. And you really need to know what you're doing.
What's a good website that people can go to? You have a website, of course.
I do. It's BardiTotomedia.com. BARDITOTO media.com. And then I have a new site coming out this week. Right now, BardiToto.com is forwarded, to be honest, to Bardi Toto Media. But later this week, BardiToto.com is going to be a brand new website with
fantastic
new courses, everything.
I'm excited to be one of your students.
Yeah. I got to tell you another secret really quick. It's a tip. I was actually going to do it tonight, but I'm actually going to do it Tuesday night. I'm doing a webinar on how to take your talents and your skill set and turn it into instant income. So what talents and skill set you have, turning it into income, because one of those things that people can do is whatever skill you have, let's say yourself, or let's say it's a keyboard player. I'll use my friend Eric from Night Ranger. I said, you should be teaching courses. You should take your skill set and turn what you're doing into income, because anybody would love to learn how to play keyboard from you because of who you are.
Sure.
And so taking what I call an e-learning academy, it's like a platform where you can put videos in there and then turn around and, let's say, charge $29 a month or $49 a month. And if you get 100 people times 49, do the math, you get 1,000 people times 49, that's 49,000 a month. So I'm going to be talking about this on Tuesday night, how people can create their own video e-learning center. It's like create their own products, whatever ideas they have, turning it into a product. And that's another thing that I have been doing for years, is I love taking people's ideas and turning it into products. I mean, instantly, I had an idea. I went downstairs at 3 a.m, sent out an email, said I had a branding and marketing company, and I made no less that time, we're talking years and years and years and years ago, between $1,000 and $7,500 a week. And this was a lot, this was like 1997, long time ago.
Wow.
So it's like, I took that idea and turned it into a product instantly. And so that's the other gift I have, is I love helping people. I can see things in people that most people don't see in themselves. It's like people see things in me I don't see in me, just like same thing probably with you. So that's another thing during this pandemic and everything. I want people to have their own businesses. I've been doing this for 20 plus years. So this is I was so grateful when all this happened, not because of COVID or the negative side of the pandemic. And I'm like, yes, everything I've been doing the past 20 some odd years, I can now teach people to do. It's like I was so excited. It's like these people deserve to have their own companies. Forget working for someone else and being under someone else's thumb and
Exactly.
somebody else's slave. It's like now I get to teach all these people, how to do what I do. So it's been great for me, and you can have your own money and no boss,
We tell our daughters this. Sarah and I talk to our daughters all the time, and exactly what you just said is what we've been telling them. Maybe if they hear you, that it'll open their minds a little bit more, because we want them to be able.
Sense, because
everything you say is so simplistic, but very, very important.
Simple.
Yeah.
It's very simple. It's like so simple. It's just silly, It's like
will you come on again sometime and do another interview?
Yes,
if you're interested, I'd love to do more work with you. I think I'd love to help more people.
Yes, of course. I mean, I love what I do. I really do. It
comes across.
I love what I do.
Bardi Toto, is an honor to finally see you face to face.
Well, thank you. Thank you. It was an honor to be here. And
you take care of yourself.
I will. Today we're having an ice storm, so yeah.
Be safe.
I will. Thank you.
Thank you for your time, dear.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. That was Bardi Toto. Her book I just recently got it. I'm going to start breaking into this thing tonight and looking at it. Thank you so much for this beautiful book.
You're welcome.
And of course, I want to thank my sponsors, because that's how my power is turned on and how we're able to have this show. I want to thank, of course, Attorney King for believing in the vision and the idea. And that's why we named the studio after him. Thank you for what you do, King. Appreciate it. Saquon Casino and Resort, thank you for everything you do. And we look forward to doing that wonderful Black Tie Academy Award for Teachers in April. Also want to thank, of course, Indian Motorcycle of San Diego, with some of the most beautiful bikes in the United States, handmade in the United States, nothing overseas, putting people back to work in our country. I also want to thank the gym and George Jackson for all the wonderful things he does. Serrano's, some of the best Mexican food in San Diego, and awesome margaritas, the best margaritas. And of course, IB Fitness. Thank you, Marina, for all your support and your love. And thank you for being such a great family partner in our show. God bless everybody. I wish everybody the very best. And again, take care.